What's up, everybody? What is up? What is up? As you can see, I have a basketball, even though this is going to be a football video. But I tried to find my football that I had around, laying around my apartment, but I couldn't, so I just got my basketball out. I think it makes some pretty good sound, so let me know what you think of it. So in this video, this is going to be the week 2 picks. So I'm pretty excited about this. I posted a week 1 recap probably yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on whenever this video goes out. And it was a good week 1. I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of good games. Packers won, which was awesome. The Bills game was crazy. Loved seeing the Cowboys lose, as always. But anyways, without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Get my week 2 picks. I didn't do too bad on my week 1 picks. I got a couple wrong. The Colts-Dolphins game screwed me. I think I took the Saints over the Cardinals. I took the Bears over the Vikings. I took the Chiefs over the Chargers, which I was very happy about being wrong about that one. I won't be mad about that at all. But yeah. So, anyways, let's get into the video. You should be able to see the screen now, hopefully. Apologies if not, I'll fix it in editing. So, week 2. First game is going to be this Thursday. My Packers against the Washington Commanders. I think it'll be a good game. 2 playoff teams. I don't know how Washington's going to go. To be honest, I think they had their 1 year with Jaden Daniels. But NFC's a tough conference, and they have a fairly tough division. I mean, they have the Eagles. The Cowboys are probably going to give them some difficulty. Sorry. I don't know how much, but probably some difficulty. The Giants, probably not. They don't look very good at all. If you watched my week 1 recap video, it's bad news bears over there for everyone. They're probably going to have a head coaching change, probably going to have a quarterback change, probably going to have a wide receiver trade. There's a lot of stuff going on. We need my boy Jameis Winston to take over. Oh God, that would be the day. But anyway, so football's going to start Thursday. Definitely going to be watching that game. That'll be fun. But just to go in order of how this is played out, or shown on this website, it's called Playoff Predictors. You can go through the whole season and also the playoffs themselves to pick your teams, or pick the winners, for the season. So it's pretty fun. I was kind of messing around with it a little bit before, but anyways, to go through the AFC here. So we got Bills at Jets. Sorry, there's a lot of commercials coming up here. It's annoying. Bills at Jets. Jets looked good, against the Steelers, which is a pretty decent defense, and the Jets defense looked pretty solid, despite Aaron Rodgers putting 4 touchdowns on them in week 1. But after the Bills, oh man, that was primetime television right there. That was magic. I'm gonna take the Bills. I don't think anyone's gonna fault me for that one. Maybe the Jets sneak a win. I don't know. I would be shocked personally, but stranger things have happened. Alright, next game. Patriots at Dolphins. After week 1, I'm betting on the Dolphins to go no more than 2-3 wins. I'm expecting Tyreek Hill to be traded to, I don't know, maybe the Steelers. Who knows? I have no idea. He looks like he wants out. Tua looks not good. Mike McDaniels is probably going to be on the hot seat this year. And their defense I mean, maybe the Colts are just going to be a phenomenal offense this year. I don't know. I don't think it's just that, though. Like, I think that, like, Miami is just kind of a train wreck at the moment. Maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know. But they did not look good in week 1. So the Patriots didn't look amazing. From what little I watched of that game against the Raiders, they did lose to the Raiders, but they didn't look as bad as Miami, so I'm going to take the Patriots. I will say, though, I remember when the Patriots were running the league, and like they would have great teams, and they would lose without fail in Miami, like for whatever reason. Maybe it's the warm weather, I don't know, so that might affect it, but I don't know, like, I have a really hard time seeing Miami bouncing back from that week 1. I feel like their season is, not to be overreacting, but I feel like it's kind of already in the downer. Alright, next game. Jags at Bengals. I didn't watch much of the week 1 Jaguars-Panthers game. Jaguars looked, fine. They handled business against what's probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year, the Carolina Panthers. The Bengals did not look good either. Offensively, they were bad. Joe Burrow, I think, had 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase had 2 receptions for like 20-something yards. T. Higgins was like 2 or 3 catches for like 40 maybe. I mean, there was nothing going on offense. Their defense actually won them the game, which I was shocked to see. They got the W, so it doesn't matter, and it was a divisional opponent, so, props to them. But yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of need to figure some stuff out, probably. But yeah, I'll probably take the Bengals though at home. I'm not a Jacksonville believer yet. Maybe they'll be good. Maybe Travis Hunter will be, the new phenom. I don't know. But I'm gonna kind of go with what I know, and I trust in Joe Burrow. Browns at Ravens. I think Ravens are gonna come out with a fury after they had that game sealed away, and it just completely blew it. Like, completely blew it. I don't know whose fault it is. Is it Harbaugh's? Maybe. Is it Lamar Jackson's? Maybe. I don't know. Is Josh Allen just that dude? Probably. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there's no way in hell that I'm taking the Browns to beat Baltimore in Baltimore after Baltimore just got embarrassed on primetime television. Like, I'm taking Baltimore. I'm here for Lamar Jackson's revenge game. That'll be fun to watch. I don't know what time that game is. I wish it said the times on this website. I think that's like an afternoon game though. So if you're around in the afternoon, I think that'll probably be a good one. Next game, Broncos at Colts. That's a tough one for me because I feel like the Colts really showed up week 1, and the Broncos offense didn't really show up in week 1. Broncos defense did. To be honest, I like the Broncos more than I like the Colts. This one's going to be a toss-up for me, so I'm kind of just going to go with my gut here. So if you're a fan of either one of these teams, like, don't shoot me. Like, I feel like they're pretty evenly matched from what I know. I will say the one thing leaning me towards one direction is the Broncos defense, specifically their secondary. I don't think Daniel Jones is passing much against that, to be honest. I don't see him having a whole lot of success. So I think I'm going to go Broncos, get the win on the road. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick. Chargers at Raiders. That'll be a good one. Raiders looked decent from what I saw. Geno Smith had like, what was it, like 300 yards or 350 or something like, he passed a lot. He had a lot of yards. And they got the W against the Patriots. I do think the Chargers, though, are going to be coming out with a vengeance. I think they're going to look to build upon that Week 1 win against the Chiefs, which I thought they looked pretty good. Justin Herbert looked pretty good. So if he can be, performing at a high level, and, they can just keep it rolling, I think they'll be in a good spot come January. Alright, so I'm going to go Chargers on the road. Alright, AFC versus NFC games. There's 4 of them this week. We got Rams at Titans. I didn't hate what I saw from Cam Ward. Titans overall did not look super great. They had the number 1 pick for a reason, So I think they got some pieces, for now, and they're just gonna have to build on Cam Ward and whoever else they draw their draft or trade for, whatever, get in free agency, I am gonna take the Rams though on the road. Wow, I'm picking a lot of road teams. Yeah, wow, okay. I just noticed that I feel like I've picked like almost all of the road teams this week. I don't know if that's gonna continue, but we'll see. Yeah, I feel like the Rams, even though they didn't do as well in Week 1 as I thought they would, I think offensively, they're just, they got weapons everywhere. Their receivers are great, like Puka and Devontae. I feel like, that's a tough duo to play 4 quarters against on defense. I don't know if the Titans are up for that passing offense. All right, Seahawks, Steelers. I'm gonna take the Steelers. Seahawks, they hung in there against the 49ers, but I feel like the 49ers are so banged up already. Like, I just saw that George Kittle is going to be out for a couple weeks, I think. I forget what he had, but, it's just like another year where their star players and just all up and down the roster, they're all hurt. I feel like it's starting like Week 1. Gosh, the injury bug just needs to move on from San Francisco. It's crazy. Or Santa Clara, wherever their stadium is. But yeah, I think the Steelers, maybe Week 1's a fluke. I don't know. I don't want to oversell the Steelers. But Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good. DK Metcalf looked pretty solid on that team. They're still a pretty new duo. I think this is their first year together. So, I'm curious to see what that looks like. And then defensively, I think the Steelers are going to be, pretty solid. I would like to see the Steelers' run game improve a little bit. Week 1, I think they had like 50-something yards, which against top teams in the AFC and NFC, that's not going to get it done unless you're throwing like 500 yards, like 4 touchdowns a game. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to move the ball. And, that's just, at the end of the day, that's it. But I am going to take the Steelers. Natch, I should say. Eagles at Chiefs. I don't think anyone in their right mind is picking the Chiefs. Respectfully to Chiefs fans, you're delusional if you think your team's going to win. I don't think either of these teams looked very good in Week 1. But I think Philly has, number 1, Philly got kind of screwed. I'm sorry, Jalen Carter's, there was some news about, Jalen Carter's having a 1-game suspension after his, whatever crap that was. Who cares? The league's trying to focus on sportsmanship. I don't care if these players like each other. As long as they're not, doing what Vontaze Perfect did to Antonio Brown, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Maybe that's bad, but I don't know. But yeah, I think, Philly's defense kind of felt lost after Jalen Carter got ejected. So, provided nothing like that happens, I have a really hard time seeing Philly's defense just not completely overwhelming the Chiefs' offense, because they didn't look that great to me. And then Saquon, I think, is just going to run all over that defense. Like, I don't have a whole lot of hope for the Chiefs in this game, so I'm going to take the Eagles. Buccaneers at Texans. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Bucs. Baker Mayfield played, I think, some of his best football in Week 1. And the Texans did not look all that great. C.J. Stroud really struggled. And I think a lot of that has to do with his offensive line. He gets pressured a lot, and he's running a lot, and he does not have a whole lot of support around him. So I think the Bucs are gonna go into Houston and win. Oh my! I feel like how many away games have I taken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow! That's crazy. All right, I'm looking at some of the NFC games, and I think I'm gonna be taking some more home teams here. Just looking at the docket. All right, so kicking it off with our first game. Commanders at Packers. If you're living under a rock, you may not know, but the Packers are Super Bowl champs already. Week 1, it's done. Don't even need to show up. Week 2, it's over. Nah, I'm joking. They looked really good though in Week 1. I'm really happy with how they played. Really happy that they beat the Lions Week 1. That's going to be huge for the long run. Like, those divisional games, especially in the NFC North, matter so much. And the end of our season, I think we play it's like Lions week 14 or 15, and then Bears and we play the Vikings week 18, I think, and then Bears are the week before, I believe. So those games that's when it typically comes down to the wire. So having these early ones where we kind of relieve some of that pressure is super nice, to be honest, because I feel like it always goes to like week 18 against whatever team we played that settles the divisional standings. But I think I'm going to take the Packers, to be honest, and not just because I'm a Packers fan. I'm not sold on Washington yet. They won in Week 1, but they beat the Giants, who looked terrible. Like, Russell Wilson had like a 41% completion percentage. Malik Neighbors was like trying to fight his coach. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and they didn't even hang that many points on them. I think it was like 21-6. Like, I said this in my last video, but if they blew him out of the water, like, held him to, a field goal, or maybe like 2 field goals, or like a touchdown or something, and then hung like, 4 TDs on him, that's one thing. But like 21-6, like, I don't know. I'm not sold. I think Jaden Daniels, I'm cautiously optimistic because I do like him. And I like their team. I think they got some weapons. They just got Deebo Samuel, who got a lot of targets last week. But I'm kind of worried it's going to be something like the Texans, where C.J. Stroud was like looking like a top 10 quarterback in the league, and then he regressed like crazy. I think that was more to do with like his actual team composition than anything. Yeah, I'm just going to be erring on the side of caution. I'm also a little bit delusional after our Week 1 win, so I'm going to take the Packers. Alright, next game. Divisional matchup again with the NFC East. Giants versus Cowboys. The Cowboys hung in there with the Eagles, even though the Eagles did not play as well as they probably should have. But they hung in there. And they didn't do particularly well on offense, in my opinion. Like CeeDee Lamb at like 110 yards, but besides that, there wasn't a whole lot else going on. And I think the Giants are bad. They're going to be bad this year. So I have no doubt that Dallas will take that. 49ers at Saints. I don't know. I feel like the 49ers are going to take it. But, like, if these injuries keep up, like, they're going to have to figure out how to play and win games in a tough conference. I don't think they have, like, a super crazy schedule this year. But, you know, you got to have healthy players in order to win games. So, you know, provided that they don't have any more injuries in the game, like, if they lose Christian McCaffrey or, like, Brock Purdy's, you know what I mean? Like, I just never know with 49ers. Like, I feel like each week I see a new star is on their IR. It's insane. But yeah, I think I'm going to take 49ers. I just don't trust the Saints offense, to be honest. Like, defense, I think they're fine enough, Offensively, like Spencer Rattler, he threw 45 times week 1, which is insane. Like, if that's your solution to winning games and, like, moving the ball, just slinging it like 50 times a game, fair enough. But, like, that quarterback's name better be Tom Brady or, like, Peyton Manning or something. Not Spencer Rattler. No disrespect, but, like, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. All right, next game. Bears and Lions. Bears hung in there with the Vikings. I liked what I saw from the Bears overall as a team. I think defensively, they're fine. I mean, I saw very little things that I would be like, yeah, that's incomplete. You know what I mean? Like, they have pieces, they have good schemes, they have good coverage, they have a decent pass rush, like, all that stuff. But offensively is where I have the questions. For the first, I don't know, maybe quarter, where all the plays were scripted, by what's his name, Ben Johnson, who's former Lions personnel. But after that, kind of ran out. That scripted playbook ran out. Caleb Williams, man, just he was pulling out like the Will Levis highlight reel, where, I mean, he was just running, he was spinning, he was throwing the ball, like, he looked like he was just running for his life with his head cut off, like literally a chicken with his head cut off, just making some stupid plays. And I mean, their offensive line is not great, but they did improve it, I think, a little bit in the offseason. I mean, granted, it's not going to be like what the Eagles had or what, like, Dallas had for so many years, but it's better than what it was last year. But he needs to calm down a little bit. I mean, he's out there, like, there was one play where I saw him, he was, like, fully horizontal trying to throw the ball away, and I'm like, what are you doing? It was after he had spun. Like, the pocket was collapsing, so, like, I get it, but, like, he was also just, like, he was looking like Adrian Peterson out there in 2012. I was like, it's not Madden. Like, you don't want to get hit. Like throw the ball, or throw it away, or do something. Like, I will say, he's very athletic. He's got wheels. I was very surprised at how fast he was. So, like, I think if done right and done in the right moment, he could really be dangerous in that way as a scrambler. Kind of like what Aaron Rodgers was, where, like, yeah, he could kill you passing 100%. But if the pocket collapsed and he needed to run for a first down, get a quick 15, he could do that. Like, I think that's kind of what you want, not like the, I'm going to run around for 8 seconds, juking and spin moving people. Like, that's not going to win you games against good teams, especially, like, a team like the Lions. But the Lions did not look good. I think their coaching personnel, departures, their coordinators leaving up for, head coaching roles or other coaching roles, I think that really hurt them. does not look, their offensive line, I should say, does not look as good as it did last year. I mean, they lost a couple guys that were like Pro Bowlers or All Pro, so that's understandable. But I do think that the Lions still have enough pieces in place, and they got a pretty experienced quarterback team. That they're dual threat running backs. They got, some solid wide receivers. Like I have a hard time seeing the Bears coming into Detroit and taking that, especially after Week 1 loss to the Packers. So I'm gonna take Detroit. Let's see. Last 2 games. Week 2, Panthers, Cardinals. Panthers did not look good. Bryce Young, just, I feel for him. I really do. Especially after last year where, like, they benched him he had, like, nothing, like, literally nothing. Like, it was literally him, and he was running for his life every play. And then they blamed him for not winning games. It's like, there's 52 other people on that squad. And coaches. Like, it's not all him. Got benched, came back, and I feel like they're gonna go through this whole thing again this year, which sucks. Like outside of that team, he could probably be like a solid backup. I don't know if he's like a starter anywhere, but solid backup at least. And Cardinals looked pretty okay. I didn't watch that game too closely, but Kyler Murray seemed to be, offensively at least they seemed fine. Really like Trey McBride. Really like what's his name? Oh God, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they got some weapons. So I think the Cardinals will probably end up taking that unless the Panthers decide to do a 180 that no one imagined happening. All right, last game. Falcons at Vikings. The Falcons looked pretty good, I thought. Michael Penix was looking real solid. He was making good throws, had a pretty solid game from what I've seen. I do think that Minnesota is just a better overall team, defensively and offensively. My one question is with J.J. McCarthy. I think he had a pretty okay game, especially given that that's his first NFL start ever. He really drove that comeback. Well, like, he drove the win, I think, is a better way of saying it, against the Bears in Week 1. But, it is still, this will be his second NFL game. So you never know what could happen, So, do I think that their offense might struggle a little bit? Sure. But I think that there's enough pieces around him on all sides of the ball, really. Even special teams, if we're bringing that into the mix, that they'll be able to bail out any issues that might pop up. So I think Minnesota is where I'm gonna go there. So yeah, let's just do a quick run through here. So Bills over Jets, Patriots over Dolphins, Bengals over Jags, Ravens over Browns, Broncos over Colts, Chargers over Raiders, Rams over Titans, Steelers over Seahawks, Eagles over Chiefs, the Bucks over the Texans, Packers over Commanders, Cowboys over Giants, Niners over Saints, Lions over Bears, Cardinals over Panthers, and Vikings over Falcons. So I think that's a pretty good prediction. Our list of predictions for Week 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how your fantasy teams did in Week 1. I feel like I had an absurd amount of receivers on my roster, and none of them did anything. Like, Trey McBride was my highest point player, and he had like 12 points. Like I had Jamar Chase. He had like 2 points. I was so mad. But anyways, I digress. your predictions are. Let me know what you think of mine. Let me know how your fantasy teams did. Let me know how your team did in week 1, what you think they're going to look like in week 2. Yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate